Okay, Vishal sir, how are you?
I'm good, Raghav. How are you doing?
All good. How was your travel here?
Yeah, travel was as per Bangalore traffic.
Okay,
Nice to be here.
okay, sir. So you spent 18 years at Intel, and in those 18 years, for the past few years, or let's say 4 5 years, you were the director of engineering of the physical design. For the people who don't know what it means, what does it mean?
So, physical design is called the back end of semiconductor development,
Hmm.
where once we get the design from the front end team, we kind of implement into the physical part of it.
Okay,
So, whatever is the output from our team, it goes to the foundry for manufacturing.
okay. So you play a crucial role between the back end and the front end.
So, our team's work is called the back end.
Hmm.
And whatever the output that we generate, is it actually the physical dimensions, wires, cells inside the chip
Inside the chip.
which get manufactured by the foundry.
Okay.
So that's how it is. Whatever output we generate, it's actually the blueprint for the foundry manufacturing.
Okay, so it's the blueprint for the foundry manufacturing.
Yes.
And earlier you mentioned that you were handling a team of about 25 people.
Yeah, it has varied over a period of time. Once it was 50 plus, also including contractors.
Hmm.
But around 20, 25, 30 has been the average team size that I have been handling at Intel.
So those 25, 30, 50 people that you were managing, what sort of roles did they have? What sort of roles were hired under you?
So some people were individual contributors.
Okay.
I had 2 or 3 managers also who had their own individual contributors. And the whole team was working on physical design. As I mentioned earlier, there are various aspects of physical design, and the whole semiconductor manufacturing and designing is a very complex process. So there are multiple roles, domains inside that which need to be handled carefully by the technical expertise of different people.
Hmm. So it sounds like a very complex manufacturing process. And your role has always been to make sure that there are no dis, uh, disturbance that's being caused. And let's just go back in time to the time when you joined Intel. Uh, what was your role when you joined Intel, and what did your day-to-day activities look like?
So when I joined Intel, I was manager in the physical design space in the chipset group.
Okay.
So I had again a team of people under me, and I was directly responsible for one of the chipsets that Intel India produced, which was one of the first tape outs at Intel India. And it was a chipset which went into laptops. And for some of you may know that there was a Centrino 2 sticker on the laptops around 2005 2007 time frame. So one of the chips inside that, which was the chipset, was done by my team and me.
Okay, so it was done by you and your team. And did you join as a manager, or were you also an individual contributor?
When I joined Intel, I was a manager.
You were a manager.
Yeah.
And for how long were you a manager?
So pretty much for all of 18 years. In between couple of years, I was an individual contributor also,
Okay.
but pretty much all of my Intel time. Before Intel, I worked for another 8 years in other companies.
Okay.
That time I was an individual contributor.
Okay. So for 8 years you were an individual contributor in another company, and then when you joined Intel, you were the manager.
Yes.
And for how long were you the director at manager at Intel?
So there are progressions, different promotions and grades, right? So I was a manager earlier, then I was a senior engineering manager, and then director for the last couple of years at Intel.
Okay, so let's say you're fresh out of college. Did you know that you were the best in the room as an engineer, or did you have to work on your ability day by day?
Best in the room doesn't come by default, right? You have to work at it. There is college is one thing, but industry is totally different thing, and you have to keep learning, you have to keep doing stuff. And even after 26 years, I never felt that okay, I have been I am now knowing everything and nothing more to be learned. So learning is a continuous process, and there is no substitute for hard work and learning in the industry. It's true, I think, for all industries, not just semiconductors. And somebody who thinks that they know everything, then that day their growth will plateau and they won't grow anymore.
So is it better to always be under the assumption that you don't know anything, or is it always better to be under the assumption that you know everything?
No, knowing everything is just not possible, and that assumption is recipe for disaster in career growth, I would say. You know something, and then there are infinite things to know, and as you continue doing your work, you keep learning, you keep working hard, and that's the only path to grow, whether you are an individual contributor or you are a manager. And all technical managers at companies like Intel, they are not hands-off managers, that they are just managing people. We are involved in day-to-day work and looking at the technical aspects of the projects also. So it's not just hands-off manager or director, it's a hands-on working with the team to solve technical challenges, technical problems that are that's part of the game.
That's part of the game. And throughout your career, was there a moment that you felt like, okay, I'm ready to be a leader now? And was it something that you planned for, or did it just happen?
See, I wanted to be a manager. That part, see, there are always two ways to grow. You can be an individual contributor and you can continue growing. There is no stoppage there also, right? You can be best of the best. You can be a principal engineer, then a senior principal engineer, and then a fellow. A principal engineer is equivalent to a director at Intel. And then in the manager role, you continue growing as a manager, senior manager, director, and senior director, and so on and so forth, right? So I wanted to be on the managerial path because I like working with people. So I always believed that I could work with my team to grow them further, and I could help in their growth, and getting projects done with the team is something I enjoyed.
It's something you enjoyed. And when you say leading a team, managing a team is something that you wanted to do, were there any assumptions that you had before getting into a leadership role about people that changed after you became a leader?
It's a tough journey. I am not sure about everybody, but for me it was lot of learning. When I became a manager first, there were lots of hiccups and lot of learnings. For me as a manager, working with people is totally different. Doing your own work as an individual contributor is a totally different thing. You are in control of what you are doing for the most part.
Yeah.
And if you are good at your work, then it gets done. I mean, you can do it even better. You can be excel at your work. Managing a team means dealing with different kind of people, right? Some people are very smart. They are highly dependent. They are excellent at their work, whereas some other people may not be that good, and but they are part of the team. You have to take them along. So those kind of challenges matter a lot, and also think that if you are a manager, you shouldn't jump into the problem yourself, which is many managers make that mistake. I also made in the initial years, that you jump along with your team to fix the problem. You have to let your team handle the problem as much as possible. You have to jump in critical phases, but not every problem you jump in and try to solve yourself. Then you are not letting the team grow, and you are again behaving somewhat as an individual contributor, not as truly as a manager and a leader.
So, what's the main reason that a manager shouldn't jump in with the team to solve the problem?
See, the team does not get the opportunity to excel, right? As a manager who was a brilliant individual contributor, so he got promoted, right? It's very tempting to jump in and solve the problem, but the team does not get to face the problems and the pressures themselves,
Okay.
and their growth is stunted. And the other thing is that there is so much work to be done as a manager, looking at so many different people, taking care of processes, that there is a very heavy chance of burnout. That you are doing your role as a manager, then you're solving all technical problems, then there is a very strong chance of burnout and disturb of mental peace and struggle for the manager.
Did you ever face any burnout?
Yes.
And let's say when you were burnt out, what did you do to recover yourself and to recover that energy that's needed to lead those people?
You take a break, you evaluate what things you are doing wrong, and try to get on a better path. You take feedback. I had a very good mentor, a very senior leader at Intel, from whom I had multiple discussions, and then I learned a lot from him, and that kind of helps to fast track your learning. Somebody senior, if you find as a mentor, then they can help you in different ways to uh, navigate the complexities and then become a better manager.
But a lot of times, not many people usually want to help. As in, let's say you find a mentor. A lot of times, people don't know who to find as a mentor. So, if you could have any tips on how to identify the right mentor for yourself.
So I would say that somebody who's willing to help, that's the first criteria. If you are looking for a mentor, then look at senior leaders around you who have done what you are currently doing and gone beyond that. Uh, Intel has a very good system that, so I was lucky that way, that I didn't have to find my own uh, system
Yeah.
only. My manager helped in finding me a good mentor. But even otherwise, I would say that senior leaders, many of them have their heart in the right place. They are more than happy to help people. So you have to take the initiative to approach the senior leaders and ask for their time, and be humble that you don't know, and ask for their time, and take them as a mentor.
Again, talking about leadership and being a good manager, what was your first big project at Intel that got the attention of the leaders at Intel?
I think my very first project at Intel, as I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
was a pretty challenging one as a chipset SoC in the Centrino 2 platform. Right, that was one of the first projects, the full chip projects at Intel India, and that turned out to be pretty challenging and tough project. We were facing a lot of problems to finish it at the end, and it caught the attention in both ways, that it was a good thing our team did it, but there were some issues that we could have handled better working with the US team. Some mistakes were made and it delayed the project a bit, but overall it was a very good experience for me and the team, and the leadership acknowledged it.
So when you did that entire project and you overcame all the challenges that you have, and you also accomplished what you had started, is that the moment the leadership thought, okay, fine, this guy is different?
I wouldn't say that that was the key moment, but I think I have been very strong technically and even as a manager in whatever I have done. So the attention of the management in that project and maybe the subsequent projects, right? Uh, I I believe my managers were very uh, dependent, or maybe better way to put it is that I was looked at highly dependable.
Okay.
That if this guy is given a project, it will get done, and nobody has to track it so much. Multiple times at Intel, it had happened that some other project which was not even mine to start with, it was in trouble and then it was handed over to me to put it back on track and get it done.
To get it done.
Yeah, that has happened more than once at Intel for me.
And do you think the continuous learning that you mentioned earlier has played an instrumental role in you having that trust and the trust of the managers?
The trust of the managers gets built over time as you deliver. I think many people underestimate it, both as an individual contributor and as a manager. Dependability is the word I would use to get it done. Right? Nobody needs to keep checking. If it's not that you can solve each and every problem yourself. If you need help, you ask for it. Right? But dependability means that okay, once given, the person will get it done. Asking for help is okay, but you take your manager's headaches on yourself, and that makes a big difference in you showing up as a leader.
So taking up more than what's required is something that helped you grow a lot.
Yes, I would say that is true for everybody. Yes.
Okay. And let's go back in time to your first promotion at Intel. What do you think you did right that helped you achieve it? And how long did it take it?
Long as in, I think around 5 years.
Okay.
And I think the key part again was dependability, delivering projects one after the other. And I had very good relationship with the US team. I think their feedback was also critical. I have been good overall, I believe, and I have gotten the feedback that I have been very good in communication and global stakeholder management. So that strength also helps in getting good feedback from the US and Malaysia teams, which helps again in getting the promotions and getting more visibility of the leadership.
So it seems like only technical knowledge is not enough, but people managing skills is also very important.
I would say technical knowledge is the entry ticket. Without technical knowledge, that's given.
Yeah, that's given.
That's given. You need to be very good technically. Otherwise, there is no start point. But beyond that, at the very minimum, for everybody in the industry, right, individual contributors also, communication, teamwork, dependability.
Communication, teamwork, and dependability.
I'll keep saying that. And teamwork includes working with the global teams, and their stakeholder management becomes important as there are different challenges managing senior people globally. And when we talk about leadership, we typically get into this that a manager or a director is a leader. An individual contributor can be a leader in their own right. If they are solving problems, working with other people, bringing something strong to the table which other people have not noticed. So that is also leadership.
That's also leadership. And has there ever been any situation at Intel where you thought or you felt that you deserved to get promoted, but that didn't happen?
Yeah, that's an easy question to answer. I think everybody feels that way, and I also felt couple of times that I deserved it, didn't happen. But to be very honest, at one point in time, around 2011, 2012, it sounds quite philosophical, but I had come to terms with it that I'll just focus on my work, put my head down, keep doing what I'm doing, and promotion will come whenever it will come. I will not focus on the promotion so much.
Okay.
So,
and is there anything else that you did apart from putting your head down and focusing on your work and just letting it be? If promotion comes, it comes. Is there anything else that you did?
for
you to make your peace with it?
that is again an individual's perspective. Some people are very strong headed in I did my work, I deserve the promotion, so many years have happened, why is the promotion not happening? And it was not that I didn't ask my managers when my annual appraisal, focal as we call it, happened that okay, why am I getting this much, when is the next promotion happening, I did ask. But if I didn't get, I was not too bothered about it. I trusted the system and the process that work will be recognized. Though I did make my work very visible. It's not that I just did my work and then somebody will look at it. Not like that. Uh, Making your work visible is also key part of it, as part of communication, right? So communicating upwards what you are doing, what your team is doing, you have to make sure that it is very visible to senior leadership. Otherwise, for no fault of theirs, it's not like they are deliberately not looking at your good work. They are so busy in doing so many other things,
Yeah.
right? And so you have to make sure that okay, you did this, your team did this, the project did not face any problem because you were working so hard to take care of things up front, uh, right? And one of the biggest leadership challenges for senior leadership, and even uh, at some mid-level, right, is that if your project did not create any noise or issue, was it because the team was so good that they tackled all the problems earlier, they did not let any fires come up towards the end, or the project was so easy that nothing happened? So that, I think, credit needs to be given to the teams where no fire came up, because almost all the time there is no project which is easy.
Yeah.
So lot of credit to the teams and people who did not allow the fire to come up. But the default visibility is for projects where a lot of fire came up and then people came together firefighting, and in the end a lot of chaos in the project, and then the team comes up and solves it, so it looks like they did a great job. Right?
How
So,
did your projects usually go? Was it smooth or was there a lot of firefighting?
uh, all kinds, I would say. But if the project was with me from the very beginning, right, I had proper resources and the external dependencies were not bad, everybody else was also doing their job as expected, then the projects were smooth, right? I can remember few projects which ran very smooth, and then whenever there was a lot of problems, it was typically because the right resources were not there, or the external dependencies were troublesome, the other team was not doing what they were supposed to do, because they do something, we get something, then we have to finish our work, right? So if our incoming is delayed, and then we have a problem, right? So those projects also happened, but no fake humility. I God's grace that whatever projects I had, they went very well.
They went very well.
Yeah.
And earlier you mentioned visibility is important. When you do any project, the senior leadership has to look at it. What did you do to make sure that you got that visibility?
So that, I think, critical times, right? You send regular updates.
Okay.
Rather than at the very end that project got done, whether it's a weekly update or a daily update, you send it to your manager. Some critical updates you copy your skip level managers and the senior leaders also, when there is some release, right? And also when somebody comes from US to India, or even some senior leader is meeting your team, you spend some time, you take some effort to make the right presentation and summarize your team's work very well, rather than just taking it lightly that okay, I'll give a quick update, right? So those are the things that matter. And one of the good lessons I got very early from somebody very senior was to have a good relationship with my next level manager, not just the immediate manager, the skip level manager.
Skip level manager.
So have one-on-one discussions with the skip level manager, so that he or she is also aware of the work that you are doing and your team is doing, is very critical, right? It's not just they are hearing it through your manager only. Not that we don't trust the manager to do the right thing, but again, there are so many things the manager is busy with. They may or may not have the right time or the right focus on your team only and your project only. They are handling many other projects. So having a good relationship or visibility with the skip level manager is also very important, I think.
So, giving regular updates, that is daily updates and weekly updates to your manager and your skip level manager, and giving a detailed explanation to external shareholders, let's say for the teams coming from US. And is there anything else that you did to get visibility?
As I said, like skip level manager relationship, daily updates not regular, only when the project is in very critical phase that people are actually tracking it day by day. So rather than somebody asking you, better to send your on your own. What else? And be a little shameless. Shameless is not the best word, but very good people I have seen that they are a bit more polite, or they understate their work. So understating the work is not helpful. Whenever you are meeting people or something, have to you don't exaggerate the work you have done. You are not talking out of thin air, but the work that has been done by the team, you present it accordingly, how much hard work has gone in, how much technical expertise has gone in to solve critical problems. So you state it as is. If you have to make an error, make it error on positive side, that present it more strongly rather than less strongly. That is important. Many individual contributors and managers feel that this is okay, this was part of the job, even when solving complicated problems. But when you solve problems, you better present them with the amount of hard work and effort that has gone into it.
Hmm. Okay, and earlier you mentioned that you were in constant touch with your skip level manager. Do you think having that direct contact with him has any impact on your relationship with your manager?
Good question. So it's it's not a hidden agenda. You talk to your skip level manager. Your manager knows that you are talking, right? They won't stop you. Uh, Nobody stopped me actually, but I don't know if somebody will stop. There is no reason to. And if it is an open relationship, then it should be okay. You don't try to undermine your manager. You don't try to go behind your manager's back and create your own agenda with your skip level manager.
Yeah.
The relationship there is just to make aware of what you and your team is doing, so that something doesn't miss out in with your manager. And if some new opportunity is there, if you come to know with your skip level manager, you can go back and talk to your manager that okay, this seems like a good opportunity for my team to handle. So what about that, right?
So, bad office politics is going to your skip manager and undermining your manager. And good office politics would be building good relationships with everyone.
Good relationships with everyone. If your heart is in the right place,
Yeah.
you're not trying to undermine anybody, right? You build relationships with people that you work with, people you are not directly working with also, right? Your peers, your colleagues in other teams, and especially your global partners, as I mentioned earlier, working with the US team. Even we have worked with Malaysia and Israel, right? Having good relationships with them is always helpful because they will help you in the project. So having good relationship with as many people as possible is very helpful. And if you are not having your own agenda, right? I think politics people talk about a lot, but that comes from people having their own hidden agenda and not focusing on what the project and the company needs. If you're focused on what the projects need, what the company needs, then there is no question of politics, is what I believe.
No question of politics. And one of your unwritten rules is to take on more responsibility than given. When did you learn that? Was it something that you integrated before joining Intel, or did you develop that throughout the years?
I developed it over the years. I learned it again from my mentor also. And I think that's the easiest way to help your senior leaders, starting with your manager, by taking their responsibility on your shoulders. And in a way, it shows to the senior leadership that you are taking more, you are doing some work that your manager is doing, that you are progressing to the next level, right? And what is given, if you do that, then it's like you are being successful at your job, which is important.
Which is important.
But you are not doing something extraordinary. So doing more than what is assigned to you, what you are responsible for, doing more than that is definitely important and will contribute to your growth as a leader, whether you're an individual contributor or a manager, in both cases.
In both cases. And a lot of times, what happens in big companies is that a lot of talented people don't usually get promoted or advance to the next level. And apart from visibility, do you think there's anything else that stops them?
So I would say that if you're talking about advancement as a promotion, the key part is the manager has to play a critical role here, because the manager is involved in the appraisals, the focal process. The individual contributor doesn't have a direct role there. So highlighting their work is manager's responsibility, though that work would become much easier if the individual contributor had done more work, as I said earlier, to have more rapport with the skip level manager, sharing their work more to become more visible. So then the problem becomes a little bit easier, right? But many people who do good work, but they are pretty much focused only on their work and sitting in their cubicle, focused on their own laptop and not talking around, making their work more visible. So that makes the manager's job a little tougher.
Okay.
But finally, it is up to the manager to fight for the team and the individual to get them what they deserve, whether it's money or promotion.
Okay. And you also have a lot of beliefs and a lot of values that have helped you grow into the position or the person you are today. What one or two qualities do you think that you implemented early in your career that helped you get to the director level?
I would say hard work.
Hard work.
Yeah, people keep talking about smart work, but hard work comes first. Only then you can optimize something to smart work. Hard work, and then I would say dependability. It comes with communication, it comes with stakeholder management, it comes with just getting it done, right, with a lot of hard work. So I club all of these values and dependability and being honest about your work. Just be honest about your work. You are given something, you have to get it for the company, and finally the company is doing the projects not for the sake of doing them, right? It is finally for the betterment of the public at large. All the projects that we do or other industries do are finally for the people. And if you keep an eye on where the projects are going to go, how will people be helped, that helps with the motivation.
That helps with the motivation. And let's say if you could go back in time to the day that or the first day that you joined Intel, is there something that you would tell yourself which would help you?
So one thing very interesting, when I joined Intel, the previous night, I think if I remember correctly, I joined on a Wednesday. Tuesday night, I reached home at 11:30 p.m. from my previous company, finishing a project which was almost finished. And then I get a call at after 12 o'clock from the US that something is still pending. Can you take a look at it? And I said, now officially my work at this company is over. So, as I said earlier, right, I had that kind of a reputation that things will get done, and people were chasing me even the last day, so that I can help. Uh, so as I was saying earlier, right, that I was working to just
Yeah.
the prior day also at midnight, I got a call from the US. So I would tell myself to work a little less hard. I would.
Work a little less hard.
Yes, because you need to pace yourself over a long period of time, and working so hard all the time is the risk of burnout, as I said. And then you need to balance your personal life also along with the professional life, which is important. It's not that you ignore your professional life and take it easy. That is not at all what I'm trying to say. But you need to take care of your health and family and personal life. So just balancing it out a little bit more would help, because the work is almost never ending, right? One of the very senior leaders in one of the training classes, she told the group, and it hit me actually. I still remember it very clearly. Is the more senior you grow, work will come at such a high pace and volume at you that you will not be able to handle that easily. So you need to pick and choose, and there are times when you will be working 24/7. They hopefully those weeks are less in the year, and then at other times just try to balance your personal life also.
So balancing is very important because at the end of the day, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Yes.
And uh, how important or how big was your personal life for your growth?
So I would say that I got tons of support from my family, right? I am very grateful to my wife for having supported me throughout the years. A lot of things at home she took care of. I didn't have to worry about it. Uh, but overall, I think I spent more time in office than I should have. You said right, day one, what you would tell yourself.
Yeah.
To spend a little less time at office, I would say I'll tell myself.
Okay. And is that work-life balance one of the main reasons that you decided to put an end to Intel?
No, 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 not at all, right? It's not like that. And I never like this term called work-life balance, right? Because then you're saying your work is something else, your life is something else, your life happens only outside of work, right? Life is not personal life. Work is a significant part of life itself.
Yeah.
Then, so I always considered life as work plus other things.
Life as work and other things.
Other things. It's not like work-life balance. That means that your work is outside of your life.
Yeah.
So somebody said work-life integration. That makes better sense. Otherwise, I would just say that balancing things in your life. Work is part of it, and a significant part of it. It's part of life.
It is part of
So work, balancing different aspects of your life is what is important.
It's what's important. And obviously, you grew a lot in your career. And let's say you grew from manager to senior manager or any position. Initially, there is that hint of uncertainty, that uncomfortable bit where you're like, okay, do I belong to this role? Was it something that you ever faced?
Do I belong to this role? No, I never faced that.
Not really.
I always had this inner confidence that whatever is given to me, I can handle and I can do. Where this confidence comes from, I can't tell, but maybe God's grace and some good things are. But that confidence has always been with me that whatever is given to me, I can do. Whatever challenges come my way, I can handle. And promotion, no promotion, next grade, or whatever bigger responsibilities, I never felt that there was some uncertainty around it. There have been periods with some challenges that not easily handleable, but uh, it doesn't mean that okay, I felt that okay, where I am stuck, I don't belong here. That kind of thing didn't happen to me, I would say.
So it seems like the self-belief in yourself is very important for growth.
For me personally, yes. And see, obviously, there are moments when you don't know, and that is okay. And under extreme pressure and some unique moments, you do feel that okay, what is going on? I don't know what is going on, right? But that does not really mean that your self belief disappeared. Those are few moments, right? So the self belief part is very crucial, I would say, for everyone. You brought up this question, and I have seen people who do great work, but their self belief is not there, and they struggle a lot.
They struggle a lot.
They struggle a lot because they don't have confidence in themselves. Then that translates to they don't have confidence in their work,
Yeah.
and then that translates to their not having confidence in what more they can do. Then they're a little bit afraid to take bigger risks. So not having self belief is a big problem.
So having self-belief is very important because once you have self-belief in yourself, it reflects in your work, and if it reflects in your work, you can do greater things. And once that's achieved, I think anything else is also possible.
Yes, that is the start point, right?
That's the start point.
I definitely feel that. We talked about earlier communication,
Yeah.
teamwork, stakeholder management, working with global people. If you don't have self belief, how will all this happen?
Correct.
It's seniors around you, your manager who will just tag you along to get things done, right? And but you will struggle in the long run if self belief is not there.
If self-belief is not there. Talking a little bit about self-belief and manager. So obviously when you have that self-belief, you tend to, the feeling to do more work obviously is on the higher side.
Right.
And how do you make sure that you take more work from the manager without making it look like you're trying to steal their job?
Yeah. See, it's not taking the manager's work. It's when you feel the manager is overloaded.
Overloaded.
And also there are two parts to it that comes to my mind, right? One is that your project has problems. How soon are you just running to your manager, right? I have this problem, I need help, or can you tell me what to do? You are adding to his problem.
Correct.
Workload. So one is you try to solve as many as possible, right? And then you're talking to your manager, you have a very good feel of what is going on in your bigger team, in your manager's team, right? And if there are few more things that come up and you discuss and then you offer your help, right? It's not right to steal the work, but offer your help that okay, I can help do this, and your manager is happy to delegate it to you. So those are the times, the two areas I said where extra responsibility, and your manager is happy about it, right? Because they are willing to delegate it to somebody, and you yourself can delegate it to your team members some work, and it helps them take on bigger responsibilities and helps them grow.
But what if the person doesn't want to take extra responsibility?
Then they are not willing to grow that much, I would say. If they are not willing to take extra responsibilities, yeah, then it's their choice, I would say. Some people are okay by doing so much, uh, just get along in the system. And some people are hungry for more. They want to do more, they want to progress more, they want serious growth in their career. The growth is not going to come on a platter.
Yeah.
It's all these companies, and don't want to talk it lightly, but it's not just default like you will be in a role for so many number of years and then you'll get promoted, right? I have seen promotions happening for a particular grade in X years. I have seen promotions happening in X minus 2 years, X minus 3 years, and X plus 3 years also, if the average number is X, I am saying. So there is no fixed number of years, right? Especially in private companies who are very focused on work and performance. So that counts.
So everyone's growth is obviously at a different pace. So the hunger to do more, the hunger to achieve more, the communication required to communicate yourself and your work to senior leaderships and everything, uh, and taking on more responsibility, of course. And are there any other unwritten rules that one needs to have for them to grow?
Unwritten rules, I think we have discussed enough, right? Taking on board responsibility, there is no written rule like that. Stakeholder management, I would say, is a very big part of it, right?
Okay.
Especially even locally with other teams and your peers, and especially if you're working on a global project, working with your US peers and US team is a very big part of it. Nobody will explicitly tell you, but building those relationships is very important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Let's say when someone is an individual contributor, their thinking is usually how do I excel more at my work. And when they switch to a leadership role or a managerial role, their thinking usually shifts from how do I excel at my work to how do I make my teams achieve more. So that shift for you personally, how long did it take you to achieve that mentally?
So it took some time. So for me, two things happened simultaneously, right? When I became a manager, I moved into Intel. So the company changed, the role changed.
Yeah.
There were two things that changed. And at Intel, settling at Intel takes 1 to 2 years. It's such a big company, lot of processes, lot of systems to understand what is going on. So I was struggling or with that. I was trying to fit into the Intel system of things. At the same time, I had this manager role which I did not have earlier. So in the initial years, obviously, I made this mistake of jumping into solutions too fast. Sometimes you have to, but too fast is the problem.
Too fast is the problem.
Yeah, you see a problem, you jump into it. Sometimes you just wait a little bit, and unless the team comes back and asks for your help, or you see the deadline may slip,
Okay.
then you have to either take care of the team a little bit more, just push them a little bit more, or then jump in as needed.
So only if the team asks you for it or if you see the timeline slipping is when the leader should decide to step in.
Typically, yes. And then, as I said, right, in companies like Intel, which are technical companies, the manager is a technical manager. They know what is going on. The regular work is keeping track of things are going okay, whether through daily meetings, weekly meetings, or one-on-ones with people on where the projects are. Project updates are happening correctly and regularly. So through all those things, the manager is in touch with what is going on, right? It's not just talking to people and having coffee with them. So tracking all those things closely makes a big difference. And then you jump in only when things are critical. You try to delegate more, you help people more, and put the right people in the right positions, especially the smart people. You put them in the right positions. And again, I was lucky that I had a lot of good people with me for a long period of time. They stuck with me, and maybe they considered me a good manager that they stuck with me for a long period of time. And once you have the same set of people working together for a longer period of time, then you get to know each other better. But even otherwise, right, the important thing for a manager is to find the smart people and the right people and put them in the right senior roles, so and give them independence.
Give them independence. And when do you think is an individual contributor ready for a more leadership role?
Again, the thing is, first they have to be very good at their work.
Okay.
Right? They have to be very good at their work. And then they show, you give them a little bit extra, they take it up, and then they're hungry for more. So as I said earlier, right, taking more responsibility. So you delegate, they take it up. They may need a little help, but you nudge them along. And whether individual contributor or manager, right, those are the things to do. If somebody wants to jump from individual contributor to a manager role, you see them how they are doing, right? It's even as an individual contributor senior, you can assign 2 or 3 people to work with them as in the project.
It's
right?
basically a test for them.
It's some kind of, you get to know how they work with
Yeah.
people, right? Some people are okay, you just I'll do my work and that's it. And or maybe they work with one person only, they don't mingle around with people, then
Yeah.
those are not good candidates for becoming a manager.
They're not good candidates for becoming a manager. And when you got into a managerial position from an individual contributor, were there any skills that you had to unlearn?
Unlearn, as I said, basically that you don't jump in. I had this tendency to jump in. That's the biggest unlearning I had to do.
And how long did it take you to unlearn that?
I would say it took me to become good at it. I would say when I was good at it, it was close to 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
And I started doing it correctly maybe in 1.5 2 years, but becoming very good at it, I would say 4 to 5 years for me.
4 to 5
Because you get very anxious when things are not going right, and you have to trust somebody to do it.
Yeah.
You have this feeling that okay, I jump in, this can be done in a week. And if the other person is doing it, if it is taking 2 weeks or more, and you get jittery about it, right? So I said 1 week. Another example could be that I know that if I jump in 1 2 days it will be done, and the person has already taken 3 4 days or more. So that jitteriness is, you have to be able to live with that anxiety and trust that the person and the team will do it if you have seen their capability, right?
So having complete trust and learning to deal with the anxiety of letting things pan out, it was very
Yes.
important for you.
Yes.
And some of the things that you had to unlearn. And
And I would add one more thing, right? As I said, people dependable. So there were few people in my team who grew over time, right? And that is, I would say, the ultimate test of it. That there were few people in my team that I would say that I can depend on them with my life. That if my life is in danger, and if the project completion is the criteria, I know that they would get it done.
okay.
It was that much trust and faith in those people that I had, and that makes a big difference if you have that kind of people.
And again, how do people find those people?
So one is, you see, it's everything is cyclical in life. So you find a good person, you support them,
Okay.
they consider you a good manager, they'll stick with you. Then they grow, they learn. The key is to reward the good performers and not so much reward the low performers, rather than just doing okay for everybody, and then the good performers get demotivated. So one is rewarding, and rewarding not just by money and promotions, by giving them bigger, better work. Meaningful work. Many people are motivated by more meaningful work.
Yeah.
Right? And so those 2 3 things, if you do over a period of time, the low performers or people, they don't gel with you, they'll just fall away, and the other people will stick with you. And over a period of time, your frequency tuning, you know each other well, and things move very smoothly.
And how important is it to cut out the bad crop as early as possible?
You give feedback, strong feedback, and I see many people hesitate here. That it's a tough problem. You can't make a decision that this person will not improve too early. You have to give them chance, and you have to give them the opportunity to improve, but at the same time, If you see that they are not performing, their attitude is not correct. It's not just the mistakes they are making, their attitude towards work and their deliverables is not up to the mark. Then you have to let them go as best as possible. It sometimes is also true that they are somehow not fitting in your team
Yeah.
or the work. They may be good at some other work in some other team. That is also possible. But you have to take care of your team. You have to give feedback. Giving negative feedback is very tough
It's very
for
tough.
some people, right? And many few managers would avoid it, and that creates problems within the team.
So do you think being blunt and bold in the way you communicate team is with your team is more important, or sugarcoating things and keeping it nice and sweet?
The sugarcoating is a recipe for disaster. And for me, I have been very straightforward in my communication. Good work done, then good work done. Not so good work done, I'll tell clearly and quickly. And people know that I would never say good work done when I don't believe in it.
Okay.
Right?
So they understand and they know the value of your words.
Yes, yes. So that is where the good performers feel good about
Yeah.
things, right? Then they stick around. And the biggest challenge, again, one of the biggest challenge as a manager is for with a low performer, that you want to give them a chance to prove themselves, right? You have to give them the work with lot of risk that they won't do it, and it could hurt the project. But at the same time, you otherwise you are doing them a disservice that you don't even give them the opportunity to prove themselves and
Correct.
then tell, right? So those tricky things also have to be managed.
So that's a risk a leader should be willing to take.
Yes, there is no option around it. If you are a good leader, you have to give that opportunity. You can try to mitigate the risk by assigning some senior leader, senior individual contributor, a smart one, along with their person to kind of oversee their work a little bit.
So earlier, when I was communicating with you, you said be bold and aggressive, own the room is bad leadership. But usually, people think the opposite. What makes you think that's bad leadership?
I wouldn't say bad leadership. I would say that people believe that that is a key ingredient to become a big leader,
Okay.
right? Being bold, being some people go into meetings and they are very loud. So loud voice means powerful voice and correct voice is not right, right? I have seen some very smart people, individual contributors and managers, who speak slowly and with not so loud voice, and the contributions are great. So some people come into the room, they shout, they point out mistakes very strongly in a team meeting, and they want things done tomorrow or yesterday very quickly, right? So that I don't think is good leadership. Being bold is different from like just uh, shouting about in the room. That's not good leadership.
Is there any example that you can give of a situation like this where it just backfired?
See, not one particular example that comes to mind, but smart people get offended if there is a good individual contributor or even a manager who are very good at their work, and somebody comes who is a little senior and they start shouting at people. Those things demotivate people.
It demotivates
They
people.
demotivate people very strongly, right? You have to put across your point is one thing, you have to give some feedback is one thing, or we are just having a discussion. You're just trying to find mistakes in other people's work. That is not helpful at all, right?
Not helpful at all.
Yeah.
And is there any other leadership myth that you think isn't good?
A leadership myth. I would say there is a conundrum one way that for a senior leader, sometimes a situation may come that option A is good for the leader
Okay.
and option B is good for the team.
Okay.
And option A does not mean it is very good for the team. So that is a very tough choice, and I would say a gold standard for leadership in my mind, that do you care about yourself or your team, what comes first?
What comes first?
So that I would say not a leadership myth as such, but a leadership challenge that great leaders I have seen always take care of the team first, and it's a way, right, that the team rises, you will also rise, rather than you are worrying about your rise all the time.
Yeah.
And team will also somehow rise.
So, about leaders, there is a conception around which says leaders are big visionaries who inspire with big speeches. Do you think that's real, or is it more of like a Bollywood scenario?
No, I would say it impacts. Good speeches, uh, powerful motivational speeches do help the team a lot. That is not a myth, I would say. You rally around, people rally around those leaders who are good with their words and who motivational speakers. That definitely helps.
That definitely helps.
Yes.
And do you think leadership is something that can be learned, or people are just born with it?
I wouldn't say people are born with it. Everything has to be learned, and leadership is something definitely to be learned, right? Leadership is not like a sports talent. A sports talent is always debatable, that okay, how much they learn. Some people are so good that you believe that okay, they had something with
Yeah.
them when they were born, right? But leadership is something that you learn, you grow into over a period of time, and you just be at it, and you will grow.
You will grow.
And I had that challenge, right? I felt looking at people around, oh, he is such a good manager, she is such a good leader, and I am struggling a bit in my initial years, right? And it's just a matter of time. When I was in that role for another 3 to 5 years, I was as good as them or maybe better. So you have to give it time, but you have to keep focusing on learning and doing the tough things to become a good leader.
Talking about tough things doing as a good leader, one of the things that you mentioned was letting go of people because you had a bigger head count. And what was going through your head when you had to go through that process of, just letting somebody go?
Oh, that is a very difficult thing, right? Uh, Typically, these is layoffs which are mandatory for the company coming from way up,
Okay.
right? And everybody has to do their part for the headcount reduction. And this is a very challenging thing for any manager or leader, to let people go. Uh, Typically, this also would revolve around either low performance or having more people in a given function than you need or you can manage with. For some domain, let's say you have 4 people, and then you decide, okay, maybe we can manage with 3, right? So in that area, somebody has to let go. But again, how will you let go out of those 4 people? Again, you have to decide, like, okay, all 4 are good, but which 3 are better than the fourth one, right? So maybe that guy is not a low performer, he is good, but others are better. So
Others are better. And when you've been in situations like that, how do you make sure you are still a human and empathetic towards somebody who's getting fired because of reasons like headcount or decision from the top?
Yeah, as I said, that's a very, very challenging thing. I also struggled with that, but you have to communicate in a way that is very uh, polite and respectful, right? As you said, the humane way to do it or empathetic way to do it. You have to tell them that it is uh, needed for the company. There is no choice here, and you the other thing that a leader can do is try to help them find a position through their network
Yeah,
in maybe other companies, right? So if that can be done, nothing like that. Uh, but I would say that that's one of the toughest things a
that's one
manager
of the
leader.
toughest things.
Yeah, because you're
And
not letting people go just because of low performance.
yeah, and are there any things that you did as a leader that you regret?
Uh, I have made mistakes for sure. Uh, One incident I remember, uh, it happened during Corona when everybody was work from home and there was severe pressure in a project, but managers are expected to take absorb pressure. And in a meeting, I shouted at somebody, right? So there is no excuse for that. But if it was an office scenario, I would have recovered faster from it because I would have met that guy immediately after the meeting because I realized my mistake. I would have apologized, taken for coffee, tried to diffuse the situation. But since we were work from home, that situation was very tough to be diffused, and I regret it for sure.
Regret it for sure. And what do you think is the loneliest part about being a leader that nobody outside would see?
Loneliest part, I would say that okay, at CEO would be the loneliest because there is no manager above him. For people like us, still there is a manager above that you can discuss things with. But sometimes there are occasions that there are some challenges that you can't discuss with the team, uh, that makes you feel lonely. You are not able to discuss with people some things because they are confidential, uh, or even some challenges I think during the projects, right? That things are not going right, you are having so much pressure on you, but you can't possibly discuss with others, right? And uh, you may come back and discuss with your wife maybe or your spouse in a way that so yeah, sometimes things are tough and lonely, and that's part of the job.
As part of the job. And do you think, let's not talk about Intel, but corporate in general, do you think corporate politics is something that's unavoidable?
So this politics word covers a lot of things, right? I would say disagreements and hidden agendas.
Disagreement and hidden agendas.
Yeah, that is the problem, and I think all kinds of humans are there in all situations, so including companies. So not everybody is the same. So some people will have their own agendas, their personal thing, as I said, right? Not every leader will think about the team.
Yeah.
They may be thinking about themselves, and some people will try to undercut others. So I would not say that politics exists just because it has to, but that is human nature.
That is human nature.
In a group of people, something will happen with disagreement and hidden agenda, which will lead to what we call politics.
Politics. And what do you see people doing wrong when they're trying to get promoted?
What do they think? I think sometimes being over eager about a promotion and just thinking about it so much that you are kind of pestering your manager for a promotion, that I think is not the right thing to do, and your manager will also be fed up actually. Uh, Promotion will come, and sometimes if it's not this year, the next year, because there are some other constraints, right?
Yeah.
There you believe that 5 people in your team are worthy of promotion, but you can promote only 3.
Yeah.
So the other 2 will get promoted next year,
Correct.
right? So, but how they look at it, that okay, next year it will happen, versus no, why didn't I get it, and why so many years have passed, I'm not getting promotion, I must get promoted, right? So, and there is another thing also, at very senior levels, there has to be a requirement to get promoted.
Yeah.
If the team is of so much size and it needs, let's say, 2 directors, and there are 2 directors, so some other senior manager who may be or close to having that potential to become a director, but the team doesn't need a third director, then that is also a stuck point, right?
Correct.
So many times that also happens, that at senior levels the need should be there. If there is no need, then promotion means what?
It's just empty words then.
Yeah,
It's just a title that's given.
yeah,
Nothing else.
it's the need is not there.
Yeah.
So those kind of problems also come up.
And what, as a manager yourself, what's been harder for you, managing 5 people or 25 people?
I wouldn't say managing 5 versus 25, because 25 means you have other people under you who are managers and they
Okay.
are doing their job. So obviously, more the people, the bigger the problems. 5 versus 25, 5 would be easier. You are in a very close knit community. But the challenges are different. But if you have the right managers under you, then it wouldn't be a problem.
And has there ever been a time where you've had a brilliant individual contributor in your team, but you know that person was very toxic? How did you handle with that?
Very toxic. Yeah, there has been 1 or 2 people that I have seen over my life, not too many. And feedback, talk to
Feedback.
them one on one. Try to avoid uh, in team meetings. I think that's one big lesson, that okay, if you have to give any feedback, give in a one on one, not try to put the person down in a team meeting.
There is a very famous saying that I've heard. It says if you're praising somebody,
Yes,
praise in public, and if you're criticizing somebody, just keep it one on one.
yes,
That's very
perfect.
accurate.
Yes, that's perfectly said. That's how it has to be. And for toxic people, I would say that is more dangerous than low performer also,
Okay.
right? I would not want a smart person in my team who is toxic. Even if the project suffers, so be it. Uh, we'll find some other person and something. Very rarely you may have to tolerate the person for some time because the project is at risk.
Yeah.
But you try to get rid of the person very fast, or in rare cases have them turn around, right, as serious team workers.
And initially, when you joined Intel, obviously you joined as a manager. What did you do to build your trust with your team?
Hmm. I think personal relationships are very important, which many people I have seen uh, not take care of or underestimate, right? And they just talk to people, okay, this part of the project have you done? This block is done, that work is done. And they're very transactional in that, right? And because there is no time is always at a premium. But I have learned that having that human connect is very important. And initially, when I have new people to work with, right, my team very important, but even stakeholders, I have one-on-one coffee with them, lunch with them, try to get to know them personally. First time I meet them, I try for half an hour not to talk about project. Try to know
Yeah,
them,
it's more getting to know them, building
getting
that
to know
connect.
them, where they are from, what is who is at home, So you get to know the person as a person, and that builds trust. Uh, and then also there is this part that, okay, do you start with zero trust and they have to earn your trust,
Yeah.
or do you give them trust and then they have to lose that trust by making mistakes? So it's always better to err on this side, that you give them trust fully and then they have to make mistakes to lose the trust, rather than the other way around.
That makes more sense. Yeah. Because usually people do the opposite.
No, that is again a problem. Then it's a negativity built into it.
Yeah.
So people may take more time to earn the trust, right? And then it is so many months go around. If you start with trust and people make mistakes and they lose their trust, that is much easier problem to solve, right? And I said human connections matter a lot,
Yeah.
right? That manager or a leader should definitely invest in. Uh, you have time, you have to make time for that, even though you have to may work extra or whatever it is.
You have to make time for it. It seems like it's very important.
Yes, I would say it is one of the most important things a manager can do.
Okay. And let's say if somebody who's just graduated out of college and is joining a big company, what do you think that person should do in the first 90 to 120 days for them to either excel at work or be more comfortable at work?
I don't know about 90 to 120 days, but there is a serious mindset shift that is needed.
Uh-huh.
Right? I have done trainings for many freshers, so 2-3 points come to mind here, right? Which people don't think of in those terms. When you are in college, right, and you have 10 chapters to do, and 10 chapters you read very well and do very well, you get 95 out of 100.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And then they, okay, 8 are done, 2 are left, and you say, okay, maybe I'll get 75, 80, and your grades are still okay, your GPA is still okay, and you are fine with it. Once you are in the industry, anything less than 100 is fail.
Oh.
99 is fail. Right? Something is not working, then the chip is not working. Software has a bug, which is a serious problem. Whatever, it's a laptop software or an app these days, the app won't work properly.
Yeah.
So that's a failure. I think that many people don't understand. I am doing okay, I am doing okay. Okay is not good enough. It has to be perfect. So 99 is fail versus 80 was good in college. And then again, that 80 is in your control. Here 100 is in nobody's control. There are tens of people or hundreds of people working on the same project. Everybody has to do their part to reach 100 for the project. Right? So, but you should know that your part has to be perfect leading up to that 100 for the project. So you have to be very careful about mistakes. Are very deadly, dangerous.
Very deadly.
Yeah, it's not that, okay, a couple of mistakes here, there. 99 is failed. 99.9 is failed. So there is no simple mistake.
So the person willing to go to the last mile is the one who will conquer.
Yeah, who will do good? The earlier you learn this, you will have to learn this sooner or later. The earlier you learn this, the better it is. And then working with the team, communicating with the team. Working with the team is very important. As I said earlier, right? 80 out of 100, your subject, your exam, it's in your control.
Yeah.
Here things are not in your individual control. You have dependencies, you work well with the team, you get help, you give help as you grow. So those things are very important.
And you spent 18 years at Intel. In those 18 years, you got to learn a lot. And what, according to you, is the best part about Intel's work culture that, just stood out for you?
I would say Intel is very collaborative, right? It's not like one person says and it has to be done. Consensual decision making. And then I think Intel treats people as people, not just as a resource to complete the project. Intel is very, very friendly with its people policies, supporting them when people have trouble at home, uh, some family member not well, parents needing attention, uh, mothers coming back to work or taking their break, right, when they are having kids. So those kind of things Intel is very, very supportive of, and I really appreciate that.
You really appreciate that. That's wonderful. And you spent 18 years at Intel. You got to the peak of it. What was the reason that you decided to put a quit to it?
I think that's a personal thing because I wanted to do something which was to become a coach,
Okay.
and that was with me for a long period of time. And it was a question of when. Could have been later, right? I still have many years to work, but I decided that if not now, then when,
Yeah.
right? It was that kind of a decision because nobody knows how many years they will be alive.
Correct.
So the thing that was running in my mind is that if I die early, and if at my deathbed I know that, oh, I could have done this and I did not give it a chance, I didn't take that risk, that would be very bad for me. And if I knew that, if I know that, okay, I'll be around for 75, 80 years, then I would have continued working till 60 more and then give another 15, 20 years to coaching or try it later. So, but that's how it is. If not now, then when? And then I took the plunge.
Yeah. Okay, so you said you switched to coaching. What sort of coaching are you doing?
I'm doing leadership and executive coaching, primarily working with people in corporates. But they also humans, they are again not just office workers. So it becomes some kind of personal life coaching also sometimes in different ways, depending on what kind of issues or challenges people are struggling with.
And the identity that you took as a director at Intel versus the identity you had to take on as a coach. What's the difference and how did that switch feel for you?
Drastically different. It took me almost 1 year to forget to a great extent my work and life at Intel. Even though I was preparing for my exams and my certifications in parallel, right? Uh, Here you have, as a coach, the most important part for a coach is to listen, right, and not give directions.
Yeah.
And in Intel, I was used to giving directions also and listening also, but not so much, right? It's a balance. So I think coach versus manager director at Intel is a totally, totally different ballgame.
And are you enjoying the journey?
I would say it's a mix. I am enjoying some parts of it, but it's still a challenge to become a very good coach or the best coach, which I'm still learning and growing into it.
Yeah, but knowing you, knowing the your history and how you dealt with things, I think this will again be a cakewalk for you.
The one thing that I would say the struggle is that not being busy all the time, right? You have so many clients and then you have client sessions, but it's not like you are busy from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Having 3 4 sessions a day every day,
Yeah.
right? So that kind of thing is not there. That's a challenge for sure. Some days when you don't have client sessions, then yes, you can learn more, look at videos, look at your own stuff to how to be a better coach. But that is a big difference and a big challenge from the busyness of work at Intel.
Hmm. And so technical knowledge is obviously very important. And once you get into a leadership role, how important do you think technical knowledge is?
It's still very important.
But would you rate technical skill to be on the higher side or the human skill?
No, no, no. Then obviously the managerial human skills are much more important.
Okay.
It's just that technical knowledge is important, even though you may not know each and every detail. but you still need to have the pulse of things. And as one of my mentors told me, that you need to have the ability to ask the right questions to your team, so that you know that what answers they are giving you are not fluff.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to ask the right questions and understand the answers to be a good technical manager. And obviously, the bigger part of it is managing people, the human angle of it, and not the technical part of it.
Not the technical part of it. And I know you read a lot. Are there any books or frameworks that have helped you get to where you are today that you would give a lot of credit to?
I would say there was a book by Zig Ziglar which I read maybe 26, 27 years ago.
Zig Ziglar.
Zig Ziglar.
What is that book about?
See You at the Top.
Okay.
The book's name is See You at the Top. And what there were, it's a very simple book, but the way it appealed to me was very strong. And the simple thing is, see you at the top was, do you take the lift or do you take the staircase?
The easier route or the harder route?
Easier route or the harder route. And there were many simple examples given there, and I like that a lot. And then there are so many other books I read, but specifically on leadership. Then again, the Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of
Effective
Leaders,
yeah.
and then it has one more book on time management also he has. So Stephen Covey is good. And I read lot of stuff which may not be directly towards leadership, so I have many other books that I read.
What's your favorite book, if you had to pick one?
One? If I have to pick one.
Doesn't have to necessarily be regarding leadership, could be anything.
Yeah. If I have to pick one, The Road Less Traveled.
The Road Less Traveled.
Yes.
And what's that book about?
That book is about life in general.
Okay.
And it has some coaching aspects to it also. But it's a brilliant book. It talks about a lot of things. How people even if they are failing, they are not ready to acknowledge it. And then some part of God's grace that is there in life, which people acknowledge or not. And I've read that book 2-3 times. Now that I'm talking to you, maybe I need to read it again. It's a brilliant book.
It's a brilliant book. Okay, and let's say you have 2 job offers on the table, one with a better title or one with a better manager. What would you personally go for?
The better manager.
The better manager.
Manager is very important. You work for Intel or you work for any big company, you don't see the company. Your manager is the face of the company for you. So manager who is very supportive, who is very honest, who has your interests at heart is I would say one of the most important things.
One of the most important things. And let's say if you had to give one advice to somebody in their 20s today that would help them grow exponentially, what would that be?
I don't know about exponentially, but yes, for growth, right? One thing I would say is hard work.
Hard work.
That is very important. People keep talking about smart work, but I would say basic commitment and hard work comes first, and then you can be smart around it. And the other thing that I have heard a lot, and it's very popular in our culture is, or fluff culture is, do what you love.
Do what you love.
There's a lot of stuff around it. I think in social media and all these gurus have it. I don't believe in that.
You don't believe in that?
I say that love what you do.
Love what you do. Okay.
Okay. So it's always a spiral. You join, you have a little interest. Anyway, nobody will know the details when they join.
Yeah.
The details will come later.
Correct.
So if somebody says, I will do this because I love this, then they only know the first step of it, and which are loving the first step of it. The rest of the story is not clear to them, and whether they will love it or not, it's not clear. Right? So you start, and then you love what you do, then it will become do what you love. So the spiral will continue.
So it's love what you do, and then once you start loving what you do,
Then
you
you are
will do
doing what you love.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
It's very rare people, right? I mean, I would say somebody like a Tendulkar or a Kohli or a Messi, or maybe some other art and culture people we see. But if we look at it, how much percentage of they will be of the global population? 0.1, 0.01, 0.001%.
Correct.
And just because the media is filled with these star people, people get into this misconception that okay, this is the way. Right? Nobody is talking about 99.99% of the people.
Everyone's talking about the 0.1.
0.01% of the people who then you feel like okay, you do like this, you do what you love, and then you will become successful. But that may be applicable to only 0.01% of the people.
Correct.
Right? So you have to decide that you are that genius who is 0.01% of the population, or you are part of 99.99% of the people who have to take the route. And it's not like it's a bad route. It is what it is, and you love what you do, and then it will go into a spiral of you are doing what you love. I believe in that.
You believe in that. And one final question before we close this. So, you spent over 2 decades going from an individual contributor to a manager, and then finally advancing to a leadership director role, and then deciding that, okay, fine, I need to follow something that I love. You don't want to be on your deathbed thinking, okay, is there something that I regret not doing? And then choosing to take coaching. Looking back at your entire journey, is there one aspect or anything that you're proud of?
I would say taking care of my team.
Taking care of your team.
I'm very proud of that. I have fought for them when needed. I have sat with them. I have I have never been a phone manager. There are many people who are just taking updates over the phone when things are tough, right?
Yeah.
So people are working till 10 p.m. in the office, and the manager goes home at 5 p.m. and they're calling on the phone at 9 o'clock. Okay, what is done? What is left? What is done? What is left? Almost all the time, my team works in office at 10 p.m. I was with them at 10 p.m. I was never a phone manager. I have been overnights at office because my team was overnight at office. I may or may not need to be there, but I have been with them and helping them, mentoring them, coaching them led me to this path also, right? That I like helping people. That's how I became a coach also.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge with us on how to handle people, how to grow into a leader, the unlearning that you had to do to become a better leader, and yeah, the overall journey of your entire life. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure, very good discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.